Today, our fight for survival begins.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Extinction Master Sentinel video walkthrough. This is the 25th chapter of the game called Second Chances, and we have to protect watchtowers for, I believe it's 8 minutes. And I should really talk about that because this is an 11-minute video. 11 minutes, and we're 30 seconds into it, and we're already starting the objective, right? How the fuck is that 8 minutes? So the timer in the game is wrong, which I find to be really strange, and it makes it harder than it needs to be because you're not defending for 8 minutes, you're defending for longer than that because the timer isn't 1-to-1. It's 8 minutes of in-game time, which for some reason is some bastardized version of normal time. So if you're wondering why these take so long and why they feel like they take forever, it's because they're not being accurately timed, and I have no idea why that is, but it's not a problem. What is a problem is climbing this guy when you don't have the prompt to hook his helmet or his arms. That can be annoying, but luckily once we get rid of both these padlocks, we should be able to kill shot this guy and get rid of him very quickly, but I missed, and I have to evade because his hand's coming down, and I end up putting myself back in danger, and then I get hit by it, but it doesn't do too much damage, so I got quite lucky. The objective on this mission is to break armor, so it shouldn't be too bad because you're going to be breaking armor to power up your rune anyway, which is pretty much the fundamental of the game, right? And judging by the enemies right now, we've got a lot of jackals, we've got a lot of vultures knocking around, we've got a lot of opportunities to build energy, and a lot of refugees as well. So the way that I always approach the watchtowers is by simply trying to get as much energy as I can in between the waves of the giants, and then taking on the giants accordingly. If a giant is notoriously difficult to climb for the armor that he's been given, or for just how he is, I will tend to power up on an easier giant and then kill the hard one with the ability that I've earned off the easier one. There was one video which I failed. It was very close, it was a 30-minute struggle, it would have made a fine video because it was a showcase of just what you can do with the game, where I kept 2 Ravenni on their ass for almost an entire defense of some towers, but because my first phase had gone really badly, because I was trying to kill bloody jackals of all things, my city could only take 1% extra damage, and I ended up getting a 3rd giant spawn who spawned near the city and ended up just striking it and making me fail. But I kept 2 of these giants on their bottoms for a very long time, and it just goes to show you do not have to be 100% lethal if you're clever, even though I would not recommend doing that because it was hard work. I was running between the 2 of them and then repeatedly severing both their legs and both their arms, and it was hilarious and it was very, very successful, but it was way more work than it needed to be. So that's the reason that you won't be seeing many strategies like that, because there's just no real reason to do it. Like, imagine if there was a non-lethal version of this game? That'd be weird, right? I think so, anyway. But anyway, climb this guy's back, take on his shoulders to build that extra piece of energy, hope that the vultures fly towards you so that you can get some from them, and be always aware of his proclivity towards trying to slap his back. And then the padlock's on the front, so we can get rid of that, and it should, in theory, be... Look, this could be a skill shot. It was not. Close, though. Ooh, and he saved me by putting his hand out. That was kind. And then we get the kill shot from the padlock, and then we kill this guy. I love it when it works like that. That is Extinction at its finest just then. Being able to dynamically land on its hand, and then salvage a fall, and then get rid of it and stuff, and make it look like you know what you're doing. That can be when the game is really fun. However, it just has to be said, doesn't it? We're now 25 videos into this walkthrough, and I've done nothing different than what I did on like the first 2 to 3 videos. So even if you like what's happening here, even if you enjoy doing it, how long can that possibly last? Because it doesn't really feel like you're getting better at it, and it doesn't really feel like there's any subtleties or nuance to do it differently. Like, I can't do something execution-wise that makes it look far fancier than what you're able to do. The only difference is consistency, because I've played the game longer than you have. That's really it. And when it works such as that, it becomes difficult to understand what to strive for. There are a lot of people who simply play for fun, And if that's enough, and if you don't notice what you're doing, then maybe you can do this for a large period of time. The game has skirmish mode, it has extinction mode, it has daily challenges, it has a whole host of modes that offer the same thing. And to me that's stupid. It's really strange and I don't understand it, but maybe I'm not the audience, you know, that they're aiming for. Maybe they are aiming for that audience that does like to do, you know, something quite simple, quite cathartic and quite fun repeatedly and not have to think about it too much. Maybe that's the goal. By the way, guys, all I want to do here is hook onto his wrists, and the game is not giving me the detection because I'm not quite high enough to do it. And every time I am high enough to do it, the detection's not working. So I'm fighting the game's detection right now. And this is why I believe that the bone guys are the hardest giants in the game. Because if you can't climb them off their belt, it leads to silly moments like that where it can be very difficult to get shit done. And I end up getting hit then because I jumped off too early, which wasn't good. But I can get rid of his bracelet, his necklace, and then I can come over to his arm, and then hopefully he can start breaking his shoulder pads. Circa, you know, Madonna in the 80s. There goes the flame. There goes the hit. I missed! Damn. That was unfortunate. Look at the guy's Ceratus, man. This guy's been working hard. Crazy. Here we go. Can we do it again? Here comes the slap. There goes the flames dissolving. Here comes the slash. I hit it that time. There's the obligatory slap to try and punish me. And it worked, which is bullshit, but whatever. And then we have another beast coming because this has taken me so long. So once again, guys, this is why... Look, and the flames didn't even go out that time. God, I hate the bone ones. Fuck you, you racists. Go on, get the vulture, dude. Attack that vulture. Do something, right? There you go. Did it put him out that time? It did. And you can see why, right? He has to slap it with his left hand. If he slaps it with his right hand, it doesn't qualify. It doesn't count. Very particular. I think this enemy would be better if every single one of them went out every time it attacked. So then all you need to do is bait a attack. You don't have to bait the correct one. Because let's face it, right, folks? When it comes to baiting specific attacks off of bosses that can do numerous attacks, it's never fun, and it's always annoying unless there's some kind of AI manipulation. Well, in this game, the enemies don't have many attacks, and it's still a fucking nightmare. So it just goes to show that it's not something that should ever really be forced on the player, because it leads to moments where there's nothing you could have done. And in a game where their objective is to push forward and break things, and they're doing that while you're trying to make them do the move you need to punish them, it can lead to scenarios where you cannot punish them. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe in an opportunity where I can't fight back. To me, that just screams of they didn't think this through enough. And I'm certain that that's not true, because let's face it, there's not much to the game. Anyway, got a weird, like, slowdown just then. I paused it to make sure everything was okay, and then we can move on now and attack some jackals and hopefully finish the rest of this mission. But right now, we're at 8 minutes and 13 seconds, and the game is still going. There's what? 10 seconds for my intro, there's maybe 20 seconds for the splash screen showing the mission objectives, and then the rest has been us playing. So this is way longer than 8 minutes. I don't know where they've pulled that figure from, but it's wrong. Anyhow. Strange what you notice when you have recordings to look at, right? If you were just playing the game, you would have probably never noticed that. I would have never noticed that, because I would have never questioned it. When the game says 8 minutes, you think 8 minutes, right? But, alas, here we are. So this guy has packs on his belt, which makes him dead easy to climb. This guy's a fun giant to dismantle. But he has bone arms, which means we have to bait a punch to break the gauntlets. Ooh, that was beautiful. That was one of the rare moments of a skillful cut where the game told me I couldn't do it, and I did it anyway. I'm going to try and use this, I think, to get back on him. Oh no, I'm going to try and cut his arm. And I ran out of time, unfortunately. So he has indestructible legs too, so you cannot cut those braces. Once again, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to break them, but you had to use a skillful timing to do it? You know, every normal player who doesn't, you know, want to learn higher mechanics can just be like, oh, I can't break those, whereas the really skillful guys could be like, I can break that, totally. And there's your distinction, there's your skill ceiling and your skill floor, right? The players that look at it, see it, don't question it, and the players that go, hang on a second, I want to learn to beat this. But unfortunately, not all games do that. So here we go. We've got another pot-bellied Reveni popping up. He's a red, he's padlock, so he's dead easy. This is much more my speed. Padlockers for life. I wonder where they found those padlocks and made them so huge. Because judging by the story, you know, I would imagine that they had engineers, that they had smart people. Because who the hell built all the armor, right? Somebody had to. Even if they are these crazy, huge, monstrous, anthropomorphized goblin men. Here we go. What's this? We're not powered up, so it won't break in one hit, and I missed! So, if you miss with the Rune Strike, it can be very difficult to go back into the Rune Strike to recover. And you can jump, and you can glide, and sometimes you can recover back into a Glide Strike, but there seems to be some kind of penalty on when you can immediately reactivate it. However, when you land a Rune Strike, you can immediately go back into one, because that's how the recovery system in this game works. So I'm going to try and climb up his belly, but it didn't work. But the good news is we defended for 10 minutes, 10 plus minutes, and it says 8 minutes, and I'm going to send them a strongly worded email about precision. But anyway, there's the objective. There are the stars. Thank you for watching, and you take care now.